What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If we've not yet met, my name is Johnny Nitafan, and I'm actually doing a top producers interview. This is number 2 of the series. We got people coming that are actually doing the business, right? As you guys probably know, I've done a ton of people who have built massive agencies, making 7 figures, being able to like help other people sell insurance. But we're going to the people who are actually selling insurance, and we got a ton of really cool people. And today we have a very, very special guest. We got somebody who's done a lot of people want to make 6 figures in a year. This guy did it in 1 month. Welcome to the podcast or channel, Jeremy.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Of course, man. You're too humble, bro. That's for sure. Well, this guy, best month. I mean, what you just tell everybody yourself.
Well, I was fortunate enough to have been able to, in this industry, we say helping 110 families, which means writing 110,000. And it was through a few different campaigns that I run. So, like what you saw specifically was just one with, AJC and those guys, because I'm not going to post something that didn't come from him. I'm not going to post something that didn't come from. So if I put up a number that has nothing to do with working with him, well, that's cannon fodder, and that's him going, dude, that's it. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, was that all through, what we're, our team work that we're putting in for you? And then I say, no. It's like, well, why the hell did you post it? So it's like, that's blowing smoke up your backside and calling it sunshine. And I don't do that. But it was just, very fortunate to be able to be in that position to help enough families secure their legacy. And I don't think a lot of people understand it. When people say selling, I'm like, I'm not selling, I'm protecting. That's how I look at it. So and people can say that's altruistic, you can say it's too humble. I'm like, it's a mindset to make sure you always do right by the client versus just trying to make a buck, if that makes any sense at all. That's how I try to approach it. So when I hear people say, man, I'm closing, I'm killing, I'm closing, I'm killing, I'm like, half of the time I want to say, cool, what'd you write them on? What's their phone number? Let me talk to them. Just because I hate that mentality. And sometimes that's what motivates people. It's not what motivates me, though. My mentality is the reward of a hard day's work is a job well done. And sometimes you get at the risk of sounding uncouth, because you've spoken to me enough to know that I say really terrible things. Sometimes the reward of a hard day's work is you get your nuts kicked in, but you're building momentum. Yeah. That's just how I look at it. So, very, very fortunate. It all issued. And a lot of people like prior to this said, how? And I'm like, dude, I hunt my people down if they don't if something doesn't go right. And it's not because I'm trying to be a jerk. It's because you need this. I have given you no excuse whatsoever to not know every detail. I have given you everything you need to be able to make sure it's on your calendar. You need this. The last thing you need to be doing is putting your family in a position to set up a GoFundMe. What's wrong with you? And it's not to be hateful. It's to shake them loose and to help them get their mind right. So that's my little soapbox on why I think the way that I do and how I approach it. Like people in FFL and all that, they say top producer. I'm like, dude, call me top protector, because that's my job.
Yeah. What when was that? Have you always had that mentality, or is that something that was a mindset switch of coming in the industry? Because I think that's it's really pretty rare. So people say it, right, but it's not as genuine, right? People are like, oh, I'm protecting families, I'm closing these deals, right? It's like,
well, yeah, because then you see them floss on social media 2 days later, and you're like, you're full of it, man. You are absolutely full of it.
Yeah, exactly. Talk through that with us.
In everything I've done, I've always had that mentality. Everything I've ever done has always been some form of sales and operations. So, and I think every industry, I don't care what it is. I mean, you could be working at Walmart, but it's systems, it's operations. And you have to treat this like a business. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say this because 8% Nation is here in the Dallas Fort Worth area this week, and I'll be there. And I mean, I'm an adamant believer that if you come into this industry thinking, hey, I'm just going to sell, don't come into this industry. If you don't come in with a mentality to treat it like a business and the clients are your customers and you treat them right, do not get into this industry. Because once I find out you did somebody wrong, I'll take them. Period.
Yeah.
That's just how I've always looked at it. I get told I'm intense a lot. I'm sure you thought that during a few of our conversations, but it's
Maybe.
not. But there's a purpose behind it, and it's because I genuinely care. I've seen family members not have coverage. My This one's hard. Um, Last summer, I didn't know her very well, and I'll admit that. But my nephew's stepsister, 21 years old, drowned, no coverage. When I saw the GoFundMe pop up on Facebook for my family, I almost threw up because part of that's on me for not having the balls to talk to him about it. And I will do everything I can to never let that happen to another family. That one hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, that
So
that's huge, and it makes me think of the saying, right? The person who loves the journey is going to go further than the person who loves the destination. And I think like that, being able to like continue on over and over and over again because it's greater than you, it's greater than that commission check. Because at the end of the day, the money's gonna it's gonna come and go, right? But it's like, what
yeah,
impact? How are you able to sleep well at night? Are you able to wake up, able to do this day in and day out? And I think that speaks to why you're able to be so consistent and be able to help so many people constantly over a long period of time because that's the main driver and focus. And so what brought you into the life insurance industry?
seeing all the people doing it wrong, I'm
How do you
dead
know they were doing
serious,
it wrong before you
dude.
got in?
You just the things that I would see on Facebook. Again, like I'm the biggest IMO right now, or agency, whatever you want to call it. FFL. You would see these people, and yeah, they're killing it numbers wise, but then all of a sudden, you see them immediately turn around and blowing all that money. Well, then they wash out.
Yep.
You'd see Colonial Penn. God, if I could burn that thing to the ground, I would. Globe Life and American Income Life, same thing, dude. I can't tell you how many clients I helped save from those snakes. And just seeing all that and then digging into doing more research about it was what made me say, I can do this and I can do this well if I just, don't lube my bald head up and shove it up my backside when the money starts hitting. So that's why I took to it. I wanted to be able to build something for myself and then teach other people how to do the same. Because you've talked to me enough, you know how manic I am about systems and processes. That once everything's really in place, it's turnkey, and the only thing that's going to slow anybody down or stop them is they're lazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you've
people are gonna
mastered.
people are gonna watch this interview and go, I don't want to work for that dude because he's nuts.
Guys, this dude's a great guy, even though he may sound intense. He has a good heart, and that's what's really cool. I think what's really impressive about you is that you don't turn off. You don't like. I feel like I'm always hearing like whenever we talk, you're like just got off an appointment, literally right before this, right? You're like literally
Yeah.
finishing up these applications, right? And so,
Luckily,
what
this guy didn't have
what
any of his meds with him, so we had to reschedule.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay. There you go.
yeah.
What would you like? What's your advice to a new agent or an agent wanting to even hit 20, 30, maybe even $50,000 a month? Like what would you say to them? Like how hard you work to be able to get there?
Well, man, that's a great question. Because if you say, I want to hit 20, I want to hit 30, I want to hit whatever, you've got to, man. I just sat down honestly, and we've talked about the rule of three, right?
Yeah.
So I sat down and I said, okay, how many appointments do I need in a week? Family first life. One of the things I'll give them credit for is they said, if you book, because they're one of my IMOs, they said if you book 30 appointments over a 2 to 3 day stretch, right? You're gonna sit 15 to 20 of those, and you're gonna write 5 to 10. And that's just averages. You look at baseball. Okay, people say, like, if I was to tell you that, oh, this guy's incredible, he bats 300. Most people be like, oh, he's a Hall of Fame hitter. Dude fails 70% of the time.
Yeah.
But most people don't ever put that into perspective. Seriously, if you are just consistent, that 30% will pay dividends above and above and beyond. And most people don't think about that. So you got to focus on uh, getting in touch or getting in front of people. That's number one above all else. I just threw up 2 fingers. That makes no sense whatsoever. Go team. But you got that was dumb. But number one above all else is you got to get in front of a ton of people. And but then the biggest hiccup with a lot of agents is they'll get in front of a lot of people, but they don't do the work after the appointments. They don't do the work before the appointments to stay organized and learn the product. They just don't. And that's where you end up getting people they have no idea, who's on what. They have no idea if when their premiums are set to draft, all of those things. That's why I say, if you just come into this industry and you think you're just going to sell and make money, dude, don't even do it. Go sell cars, because you have to, when after your set schedule for the day of either dialing, running appointments, what have you, if you do not do the paperwork at the end of the day and you don't do the prep at the beginning of the day, it's going to overwhelm you, because as you start to make money, those clients start to pile up and you're not going to be able to manage it. So, and that may scare some people off. It's not intended to. It's saying, listen, every new level in life requires a new version of you.
Yeah.
So step it up.
Big time.
That's how I think.
Big time.
Yep.
Can we talk through your $110,000 a month, breaking different things down? How much did you invest into doing that? And like, what was let's start here, right? Going into this, was that your goal? Was your goal hitting 6 figures that month, or what was your goal in it? It just
60.
happened.
My goal was
just
60.
Casually
65.
doubled it.
Okay. So, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So one, what was your investment on it? And like, what was your mindset on that? Because I mean, for the reality is, a lot of people don't want to invest $350, right? I just got off an interview with somebody that $350 a week was a steep investment, right? A new agent that may be. I mean, people coming in, it's a real struggle, right? I didn't have a lot of money coming in as well, and so that definitely is like a steep thing. So getting to where you're able to invest a good amount and then get to where you did that. Talk us through your mindset on that, and then the activity required to do 110K in a month.
When I first got in, I was only investing like maybe 3K
a month, right?
Yeah, 3K, and that's just because I also run 2 other businesses outside of this, and I had residuals coming in off of that. So when you say no op switch, it's real. But people sit there and go, man, don't you want freedom? I'm like, dude, I don't want to end up on the damn street in 15 years when, things get astronomically expensive. So when people say, do you ever slow down? I'm like, do you ever start?
Great question.
But as far as that month goes, my total investment on ad spend and everything added in was about $8,700. And I just went in with a mentality of consistency, book 100 plus appointments a week, because I run everything virtually unless it's a massive case, like at the beginning of June when I had to go to Arkansas and Louisiana for a few really big cases. But they were consulting clients of mine that wanted to write policies to protect their business. So it's a different story,
Yeah.
So I just went in with that mindset, and I was like, okay, if I do this, I know I'm going to be able to write at least 55 to 65. So that's my range. 65 is ideal. If I can do that, and consistently hit those numbers, then that's great. And I'm a follow-up maniac. I mean, that's huge on my end. So when I like um, day of no shows, not only do they get highlighted in my Google sheet, they get put on a Word doc, okay, with the date. All right. So the next day, and I've got people from the week before that, all of that as well in sheets. And so if I have a no show, I'm dialing. Whether it's if I can get them on the horn and the gap is big enough to be able to actually write a policy, great. If it's not, book them again. Sometimes it'll be like, I don't really want to get sucked into writing a policy on this one, so I'll try to just book 8, 9, 10 off of that. And that was my mentality the entire month, and it just momentum just started building. Like I again, 8% Nation starts on Wednesday night, and it runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I told Cody, I said, I'm still going to be running appointments in between some of the stuff. And so my goal was to, between today, tomorrow, and before it starts on Wednesday, to write 10 to 15, so that I'm like, okay, cool. And thankfully enough, today I've written 8. So it's a good start,
8K.
right? Yeah. So it's just people don't understand. Everybody hears the phrase "strike while the iron's hot," right? Okay, how the hell does the iron get hot?
That's a great
How does it
question.
get hot? No, Johnny, it's really simple. You start striking it to get it hot, and then you keep it going. But so many people are like, yeah, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Well, it's not going to get there if you don't start.
Yeah.
So that was just my mindset through that entire month. And as they kept closing, writing, whatever you want to call it, as I kept writing more and more policies. And at the end of it, when I finally took my foot off the gas at the end of the month, just to add it all up, I was like, oh, okay. That doesn't suck. And that was it. I mean, literally. So my mindset was consistency and follow up, and doing right by your people, making sure that you get the thank you cards out, that you make sure. I mail every client a paper copy of my license for their state. Okay. A thank you card, all that stuff, a letter detailing when the premiums are going to draft, everything. Because like I said, the only way they will ever they have no excuse not to make sure it stays in place, unless they just suck at managing their money. But there's no magic formula.
Yeah.
Like Michael Jordan is arguably considered the greatest athlete or basketball player of all time. And what was one of the things that you hear everybody say? He's so fundamentally sound. If you don't do the fundamentals, you'll never see the massive growth. It's not going to happen. People try to get fancy, like all the things I see online all the time. Say goodbye to dial days. Say goodbye to your money, because that ain't going to work. Yeah, you may not have one designated dial day, but you're dialing. If you're not dialing, you're dying.
Yeah. So
Period.
what is your how do you get in front of so many like qualified prospects daily? Talk us through like the systems that you're willing to share with us.
I tell them if they don't get a policy, I can't afford my hair treatments. I'm kidding. I don't say that. That's a great line, though. I just thought of that.
That's too good. The free vacation, baby.
Right?
The cruise.
God, I hate that so much.
We're going to the Bahamas.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Free gift card. No. I don't do that stuff. I've been fortunate enough through trial and error to find questions that actually elicit a certain type of response on my forums that we created. And I don't think enough people pay attention to that. But again, most people get into this and think it's sales. It's not sales. It's a business. It's a business. And so that helps qualify. Chat GPT helps a lot as far as follow up. And when I can't get, but you don't start out there, you got to build into that. That takes money.
Yeah.
So, but all those little tools help stay on top of things. And then again, I follow up like crazy. I don't just let, oh, the system will take care of itself. No, dude, it's like, okay, you don't put gas in the car. At some point, you're breaking down the highway, period. You still have to do the work.
Yeah.
So, if I know I talk a lot, so you're welcome. But one of my favorite lines is from the 1990 Chicago Bulls. If you watch The Last Dance, Phil Jackson said, "We
Oh
had a
yeah.
saying in the locker room: you're only a success at the moment you perform a successful act. You have to do it again." And too many people say, "I wrote a $5,000 application. Great. What'd you? How many days ago was that? 2. What'd you do in the last 2 days? Well, 0.
Wait for it to
How,
issue.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just sitting there. Did oh, you went out and spent the money before it actually hit your
That's
account?
the best, right?
Got it. Yeah, I just don't think that way. I'm a simple guy. I want to build something that matters.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
But like, so do you have like appointment setters? Do you do one call closes? Like, walk us through that.
All of it. I have 2 appointment setters now. I do one call close. I will, if somebody gets booked into a 15-minute time slot, that's not a one call close. No, it's a information gathering session and a reschedule. So thankfully, this guy tonight before us, we had to reschedule because he didn't have his meds on him, but it works out. You just got to know when you're talking to the person how to be able to not just be a douchey robot, you know. So the appointment setters help a lot because I can't get to everybody. AI helps a lot because I can't get to everybody. But again, you have to build into that. You're not going to start there.
Yeah.
You're
So,
not
or
going to
would you
start there.
recommend having a new agent start to get to 20,000 a month? What would be some of the steps that they need to take?
Okay, say you can only afford to get, say you can only afford, $400, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to start up with aged leads, what have you. Okay. Say that $400 gets you 50, 60, 70 aged leads. You dial every single one of those freaking leads until you exhaust that list. And I don't mean you go through them one time. I mean, you dial them 3 times. So you go through all 50, say it's 50, and you don't get in touch with anybody. Okay, as soon as you're done, start again. So you say you book one, okay, set that to the side, the next 49. Say you book 2 more, cool. Now you got 47. You literally just hammer it, hammer it, hammer it, hammer it, because so many times people say, "Oh, these leads aren't working." I'm like, "No, dude, you're not working.
Yeah.
You are not working." And the only way you're going to get to any level of consistency is if you, as bad as it sounds, you try to polish a turd until that turd turns into gold, and then you can actually go make more gold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. I have written just as much business off of 90-day-old, 1-year-old leads as anything else. The only reason you get to, oh my God, exclusive branded leads and all that idiocy is you build. That's it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so simple. So many people overcomplicate this. And I know I'm not a sham wow guy. I'm probably the guy that's gonna scare the hell out of people. But you know what? At least you'll know exactly what you need to do. You'll know exactly how to do it, and you won't have to worry about guessing it games.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and just sit there and be like, the average policy is $100 a month, so that's $1,200 a year, and then 70. No, dude, come on, man. I'll break all of it down for you. I have sheets already built, so when I start hiring people, if they go, "What is this?" I'm like, "Page 5. You have every tool in front of you. All you need to do is just freaking work."
That's huge. That's huge. Last question here as we kind of wrap up here.
Yeah. Appreciate your patience today, too. Truly, please know that. I do appreciate it because when you're like, "Mud after East goes," I'm like, "We ain't doing that shit."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I appreciate you. I appreciate you being able to hop on here. I know you're super busy and literally coming from appointments, writing 8,000 today, like that's massive. What would your
Fortunate.
advice be to?
Fortunate.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I say it's fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, what would your like your advice be to an agent like that wants to get there that hasn't gotten there? What would you say to that person that wants to get there just hasn't yet?
Be real, be raw, and be honest with yourself. I had on a conference call about 3 weeks ago. I think when these people are talking about self affirmations and all that stuff all the time, I'm gonna say, when I hear that, I'm like, some no, more and more and more people need to wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and be like, what are you going to do today? Not like you got this. Oh my god! And then if they have a rough call, don't go, okay, it's okay. Like just
Yeah, it's
affirm.
true.
No, bro, just get back to work. Admit that
Fact.
one sucked and get back to work. Period. Stop affirming, start working. And Cody said flat out, he said, I'm the type of guy that I look in the mirror and I'm like, no, you sucked yesterday, but it's great because that's how I drive myself too in that regard. It's not beating yourself up, and too many people think it is, but you got to get real and raw with yourself and say, what am I actually doing? And if you want to get to a certain point, start tracking it. You
Yeah,
can't
that's
manage
good.
what you don't measure.
Yep.
You cannot manage what you do not measure. And so many people say, man, I got this. I'm the man. I'm the man. I'm like, no, there's certain days. I mean, there's been multiple days in a week where I've looked at myself and been like, what the are you doing, dude? And it's not to be a negging out and all that kind of stuff. It's to sit there and say, okay, sit down, be real, look at what you did, look at what you did not do, and where do you need to ramp it up? And too many people say, but I just don't want negative vibes, positive energy only. I'm like, cool, get over there. Positive energy, your butt out the door. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to make money and
Yep.
build something.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome.
I'm old school in that mentality. So you see the gray in
Oh,
the beard, man.
it's good.
You see the gray in the
Really
beard.
good. That's awesome. Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you coming on here, man. I really appreciate our friendship and continuing to grow and things like that. It's cool to have somebody in the business that constantly challenges you, and so that's what you've been for me. Somebody that's like constantly pushed me, and I'm like, dude, I can't let off the gas because I know he's probably wrote like 10 deals by now. I'm like, wrote 2 today, and you're like, oh yeah, just got done 8, and I'm like, dang, making me rethink life. But anyways.
Just you're fine. Just keep going. I only say that to put it in perspective when you're gonna have like 2.5 to 3 days of not really being able to see anybody or talk to anybody. It's you got to plan ahead. When people are like, but I want to travel, I want vacation. Like, did you earn it?
Yeah, it's a
If
great
not,
question.
stop talking, start working. So
Yeah.
and I appreciate your understanding tonight. But when you said reschedule, like, no, dude, no, we ain't rescheduling. We're doing this thing. Come on, man. I know you're looking
Yes,
over at the
sir.
wife might want to kill you, but we're good. Tell her I said it's okay.
Yes, sir. Well, dude, appreciate you, man. How can people reach out to you if they want some help or want to possibly work with you, things like that?
You can reach out to me at www.gingerjesus.com. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Lord. I'm kidding. So- no, my business number is 469-469-5581. I'm not kidding. 469-469-5581. They can also reach me at my email is info at growthinsurancegroup.com. Very simple. Info at growthinsurancegroup.com. You can find me on Facebook, Jeremy Hayes. Just look for the shine. The profile picture is me posing with my niece for her birthday. So, yeah, I'm not a hard dude to deal with. You just got to be willing to put in the time. The only people that
Yeah.
ever think I'm hard to deal with are the people that sit there and aren't willing to work. That's it. If you're willing
Yes,
to work and
sir.
not make excuses and be real with yourself, easiest thing in the world.
Yep. Boom. Well, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with a friend if you guys find it valuable. Appreciate you guys. Drop in the comments some fire emojis. Watch the replay if you want to become a top producer and start crushing it at 6 figures, not in a year, but in a month. Appreciate you, Jeremy. Peace out, guys.
John.